Okay, here's one for Pablo Neruda. This play is being played right now as we speak, and it's going to be played tomorrow, the day after. There's a play called Burning Patience. It's about the greatest Chilean poet, the greatest poet, one of the greatest poets of the 20th century, Pablo Neruda, whose poem Jason Newberry, who's in the camera, has read. So I want to read from a poem by my teacher's teacher, E.P. Thompson, a great New Left thinker, historian, who wrote about Salvador Allende. And these next four poems were basically something I gave a copy to a friend in Berkeley who was doing some kind of display case on S11, two S11, September 11th that we were familiar with, and the other one, the overthrow of Salvador Allende, the CIA. So, by E.P. Thompson. Homage to Salvador Allende. There's an epigram. Our enemies have beat us to the pit. It is more worthy to leap in ourselves than tarry till they push us. Brutus at Philippi. Well, Comrade President, what is there left to say? Predicted all the way and buried in the end without the benefit of media, for the mass could say its news is over you. The cameras squat in your wounds and blow them up. Failure makes you like us, our kind of men, killed by our kind. Petrol pump patriots, loyal executives, most loyal constitutional ladies, wed to destroyers, set us on objects. Our kindly, patient partner, generous Fabius, who when he strikes, strikes hard, getting us in the guts. Your face was too much coming. Money fled uphill and cost them in their lives, who cost your death. Your art was always impossible. Couldn't you learn with less than half the votes the pros of power, the public men's inflation? You should have been our age, trading their terms for something less than half a treachery. Defective realist, poor loyal sod, owed silly doctor and a palace on your own, knowing the odds were up. Why do you hurt our hearts? Poetic Latin men, you do not fall within our frames of reference. Transfixed by promises pledged to the poor in high Andean pastures, the crowd of Santiago, the clasped hand of the metal worker, the earnest village schoolmistress, searching your face. These brought their entreaties. You signed them with your life, which you trade now into myth's ageless reference. Bolivar, Guevara, Allende, generous continent, accusing hemisphere, but not our kind of man as we, back in our prosing beds, stir in our midst, recalling such men once. And at Philippi one, who having fought and failed, took on a Roman end, September 1973. These next two poems are by Thomas McGrath, one of the most underrated beat poets. I think he's a better poet than Allen Ginsberg. He was a friend of E.P. Thompson, a friend of my teacher, Peter Weinbach. And these two poems about Pablo Neruda. A warrant for Pablo Neruda. The fury of cinders, with the despair of dusty great meat-eating birds stuffed under glass, where the public steals some rust or wedding rings. The shriveled bureaucrats with flagged false eyes, smug as one-legged guys of the blind. Our politicians impersonating man, water their withered Bible, loosen the night's black knife, and now on the polo fields of the rich, exercise the clanking hounds of illusion, and all up a warrant for the 20th century. They're hunting for you, Neruda, and who now will stop them from stuffing the wild birds of the forest with a blue fission of national neurosis? Who will found the myth of copper? Who at Magellan's Delta remember the ritual of forgiveness? No one but you. No one but you. It is just. It must hunt you because of what they have forgotten. The name of the buried miner, the bronze face of wheat, the river of indulgence that flowed from O'Higgins' side, dries in their heads like moss in a filing cabinet. And what of Bolivar's tears? crawling like purple chips from the lays of usury. They go with you to the high Andes where police cannot marshal a true man to hunt you. No, through the Supreme Court unhappily, sane and naked, run through the downtown streets shouting that laws have become just, black, white, odd, even. No. The conspiracy of October lilacs is against him. The frond of innocence cocks a summer rifle. The Union of Barley is on strike, and everywhere an alchemy of resistance transmutes their flowering name. Again, next one is by Thomas McGrath. This one's called Lament by Pablo Neruda. We may well ask now, where are the lilacs? Yes. And where now are the metaphysics covered with poppies? There are vertical streets in Chile that end in the man-killing sea. Up these, the salt is climbing like a mineral snake on the stairs, made from the bones of dead men. There are dead men too in the plaza, under the salt of the moon, where traitorous generals sit, sipping the wine of silence, and crossing out names on a page. You have seen the dead in the square, Neruda, and you have known those wounded lands where the poor are dying against the walls, in the shadow of administrations, in the shadow of law, in the hollow ministries where workers are murdered by the mere echoes of money, and miners are abandoned in the black galleries. But hope is not lost. For you also saw the International Brigade as it entered Madrid, the thin and hard and ripe and ardent brigade of stone. I want to believe you, Neruda, old Commissar Roses. I hear your fierce ghost calling in the midnight streets. I see your generous blood staining the dollar bills. And I long for the angry angel to rise over Machu Picchu, for the gorilla entering the plaza where defeated generals wait.